Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in today. I've got a story to share that cuts deep. It's not just about betrayal. It's about losing faith in someone you once trusted with your entire life. So let's get into it. My name is Darren Cole. And if you've ever had the rug pulled out from under you by the person you loved most, then you're going to understand exactly where I'm coming from. For 5 years, I was married to a woman named Rachel. I gave her my time, my energy, my heart, and I never held back. I wasn't perfect, but I tried hard. I'd go to work, come home, and make sure she never had to lift a finger. Not because she asked me to, but because I wanted to. And while I was doing all that, she was lying to my face, sneaking behind my back, with a man I didn't even know existed, until the day he stood on my doorstep, looking me in the eye, and asked if we could talk. But before I go there, let me rewind a bit. Before Rachel, there was Alyssa, my first wife. We were married for 7 years before she was taken from me in a car accident. It was raining heavily that day, the kind of rain where your wipers can't keep up, and visibility drops to nearly nothing. A semi-truck lost control and hit her head-on. I was out of state for work. We spoke that morning, and that was the last time I ever heard her voice. I didn't know grief could feel physical until then. Like someone had carved out a hole in my chest and left it wide open. I drifted through life for 3 years after that. Didn't date. Didn't smile much. Just existed. Then one day, my cousin gently asked if I had ever thought about trying to love again. At first I was furious. How could she ask me that? But the anger faded. I sat with it and I realized she was right. I still had love to give. I just didn't know how to give it anymore. That's when I met Rachel. We met through a mutual friend at a small dinner party. She was vibrant, younger than me by a few years, and had this energy about her that was hard to ignore. She didn't treat me like a broken man. She didn't tiptoe around my grief either. She acknowledged it but didn't make it the center of our relationship. It was refreshing. We took things slow, and before long, it felt like I was finally finding pieces of myself again. Rachel said early on that she wanted to be a full-time homemaker, that it gave her purpose. I respected it. After Alyssa passed, I'd buried myself in work, became financially stable, and had paid off the house completely. So I told Rachel, "You'll never have to work a day in your life if you don't want to." She smiled and said, "That's all I've ever wanted." We had a small ceremony. No big crowds. Just close friends and a quiet day. At that moment, I believed I was getting a second chance at happiness. The first 2 years were solid. We laughed, traveled, made memories. But right after our second anniversary, the distance started creeping in. Rachel became different. She started brushing me off, saying she was tired or not in the mood to talk. Little things changed. She'd sleep with her phone under her pillow, lunge for it any time it buzzed. One day, I used our shared Amazon account to buy a power tool. But when I checked the order history, I saw several items I'd never received. Mail gifts, small electronics. I assumed she was buying gifts for a relative, so I casually asked her about it. That's when everything shifted. She went cold, defensive, looked me dead in the eye and said, "Do I look like someone who would cheat on you?" I hadn't even used the word cheat. That wasn't even the direction I was going. But she said it, and something inside me turned. After that, I watched her more closely. She grew distant, secretive. Arguments became routine. Everything felt forced, like she was itching to justify the emotional gap she'd created. Then one day, I came home early and found her asleep on the couch, phone in hand. I picked it up. The screen hadn't locked yet. Her gallery was clean. But the messages, all her conversations looked like they'd been freshly restarted. Every thread had a weird first message, as if everything before it had been deleted. One message stood out. "You always overthink." I didn't send that. No previous context. Just that one message from an unknown number. Then I checked the call logs. The same number had called every day. Sometimes twice. And she answered. Every time. I saved the number to my own phone. I didn't say anything that night. I just knew something was going on. Later I traced the number. It was a man named Colin Morris, a neighbor. We'd barely spoken since he moved in. Just a few words in passing. My stomach sank. Still no hard proof. Just instincts. So I got quiet. I installed a doorbell cam with a hidden recorder. Didn't tell Rachel. And I stopped sleeping with her. We had been trying for a baby, but not anymore. Few weeks passed. Rachel started leaving the house every day around 11 a.m., always back before I returned from work. When I asked, she said, "I've just been catching up on shows, folding laundry, the usual." But I had the footage. She was lying. So I hired a private investigator. A week later he called me. He'd followed her. Took pictures. She was walking over to Colin's house. Almost every day. Right after his wife left for work. It was clear. No more guessing. I came home with the truth in my hand. And I looked at Rachel as she sat on our couch, scrolling her phone, just like every other day. I asked her plainly. Asterisk. How long have you been seeing him? Asterisk. She acted confused. Then defensive. Then the waterworks. I didn't buy it. Seen everything. So I told her. Asterisk, you're a liar. And I'm done pretending. Asterisk. The next morning I met with a divorce attorney. Within a week, I handed her the papers. She refused to sign. Thought I'd cool down. Thought she could wait me out. So I filed a court motion to have her removed from the house. And since I'd owned it outright, years before she ever walked in, the court granted it. She tried to paint me as abusive, controlling, tried everything. But none of it stuck. Then came the strangest part. One random Saturday my doorbell cam went off. It was Colin. Standing on my porch like he belonged there. I didn't even move. I tapped the intercom. Leave my property. But he stayed. He said asterisk. Darren, I just want to explain. Asterisk. So I opened the door. And I hit him. One clean punch across the face. He stumbled back, blood dripping. Didn't even swing back. Just said, asterisk, I deserve that. I know I do. I came to ask for your forgiveness. For Rachel's sake. Asterisk. I laughed in his face. Asterisk. Forgiveness. For her. Asterisk. And then he said something I didn't expect. Asterisk. I can't be with her. I'm married. I never meant for this to go that far. Asterisk. I stared at him and said, asterisk. Maybe I should tell your wife. Asterisk. He paled. Please don't, he begged. Asterisk. I've already ruined enough. Asterisk. I said asterisk, then leave. And don't come back. Asterisk. And he did. I never told his wife. Didn't have to. A few months later I heard they were getting divorced too. Karma. Maybe. Rachel and I dragged through the divorce process for 9 months. No kids. 5 years wasted. I thought I'd feel relief when it was over. But it just felt hollow. You don't walk away from something like that without scars. But I learned something: if you don't protect your peace, no one else will. Now, when people ask if I'll ever get married again, tell them no. Not because I don't believe in love, but because I've seen how easily trust can be destroyed. I've lived through that kind of heartbreak. And I'm not paying that price again. Thanks for listening. If this story hit home for you, drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More real stories are coming soon. Take care of yourselves out there. Darren.